Bagi people are found in states like Niger, Kaduna, Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, and Kogi states. Bagi is the most populated ethnic and indigenous group in the north-central Nigeria, and their major occupation is farming and pottery. Bagi people are known to be peace-loving, transparent, and accommodating.
Moments are, moments that when you close your eyes, you really don't want to remember. But some certain things that maybe happened at that point just bring solace to you. Today on Against All Odds, we have a young Nigerian lady, Jane, who has had her own fair of life's hard, soft, beautiful, and lovely challenges. It wasn't easy at the beginning, but right now it seems rosy. For those who are just meeting her at this rosy part of her life, would never have imagined that she had passed through the waters, through the valleys, through the darkness, and she never ever imagined that she would pull through to this point she is. But you know something, with God, everything is possible. Right now, my guest is in Poland. Thank God for Zoom. Maybe COVID-19 actually opened our eyes to a lot of things. I'm seated here in Nigeria, and Jane is in Poland, and then we're having a section with her on Against All Odds. Don't go away. We'll be back very shortly with the whole story of Jane's life, from her darkest point to her brightest point. My name is Toshima Pius.
This is Against All Odds.
Life is a mixture of good, bad, and ugly. And every stage you come across leaves you with a lesson, makes you better or worse. Experience, they say, is the best teacher. But is it really so? Some do not survive experiences, but the few that have survived have the privilege of sharing their stories with those who have ears to hear and learn. Against All Odds crew met with a young woman, Jane, born in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, into the family of Mr. and Mrs. H.I.R. Orobato. She is the last child out of 8 of her mom, Mrs. Roslyn Orobato, and 16 out of 19 of her dad. Growing up in a polygamous home, Jane didn't get the desired fatherly love and attention she desired. And to make it worse, she lost her dad at a tender age and was sent out to the street with her mom and siblings, where they practically grew up in an uncompleted building they knew as home. Jane was raised in struggle and abject poverty. She grew up desperate to make a living for her mom and herself. In the quest to discover an imaginary world of comfort, Jane as a young child grew up desiring love and protection, fell into so many wrong hands in search of love, money, shelter, comfort, security, ended up in the camp of prostitutes in Italy and eventually in the hands of 3 different men who promised her love and protection, but instead left her with a broken heart and pregnancy at every point.
The people told me that they are going to take me to Germany to pick tomatoes in a farmland or something like that. That since I am educated, I can use my education to get a clinic job, all the lies and everything. So I believed them. I was naive. I was desperate. So they took me out of the country. That was not enough. Because before the whole situation, I met a young guy. That's the father of my first and the second child. So I got pregnant without even knowing. And I entered the journey to Europe. I think I'm willing to be honest for the first time. I was in Lagos with this guy that wanted to take me out of the country. And he almost got me raped that night, all in the name that he will allow me to join the group that will travel first to Europe. Getting to the airport, we were denied because we are not having our this thing, which that's international passport with us. So we are denied. After a week again, we tried, and I succeeded to get into Italy through Germany. So getting to Germany, the whole story became a dark moment in my life that it begins to unravel that I have entered the wrong vehicle. That is my language when I speak. So I was being taken to Germany, and the same night be transported 15 hours to Rome. So it came to my mind, and I asked the driver, I said, where are you taking us to? Because we're about 5. I said, I know we are in Germany now, so why are you taking me to another place? Italy. I have heard so much about this. All I got is shut up. You don't have a voice here. Just listen to what we are telling you. You are away from your home. You are away from Nigeria. You are here now under the custody of these people that call themselves sponsorer. Let me use that language. So I kept quiet. I was like speaking out, but other girls, other ladies or girls, they were really cold. So we entered a filling station, and I noticed I began to throw up. Something was not right. I began to throw up. So on getting to Rome, they introduced me from the hand to hand. It's like what I say, buying and selling. They just hand over me to a boy or a man that took me to a place I was supposed to stay under a madam. Let me use that local language. And the other girls, we were separated. I never saw them again. So this is me in a place I called a dreamland, in a place that I promised my mom that I will wipe your tears because I've seen what you've been through. And here I am in a strange country, in a strange house. And the first thing I heard was, welcome to the club. I was shocked. So this madam gave me 2 days to gather myself and pushed me out on the street. I remember I traveled in November 1997. She gave me a clothes, and the way they designed the clothes and the way they designed the panties, if you know this light thing we normally wear in the cold, they open the under of it. As a lady, they open it, the under for easy penetration. Let me be sorry, I don't know. That very moment, I collapsed. My original spirit left me. I was empty. I cried. But I was not allowed to show my emotions. I have been given money to pay, which is $40,000 as at 1997. Plus, you have to pay the house rent to the lady. I have to pay for the feeding, the cleaning, everything. And even the spot they asked us to stay in the streets of Europe. Could you imagine that? We have to pay tax to the women and not to the government. I was cold. I went anyway. This is my darkest moment. I went to the place. As a young lady, you understand, I'm young then. I went with them and I saw how these ladies were being used. I cried and I stand my ground. People that know me know I am a strong-willed woman. I am desperate, but at the same time, I like my dignity. I said, I'm not doing it. The queen said, if you don't do it, you will be ready to lose your mom, your sisters, your whole family will be wiped out. It's like a threat. He said, because this woman, they called her name, her nickname was Ikebe. In my language, is woman with big boots. She really had the big boots, okay? So because I refused to do what they were doing that first day, not even knowing that I was pregnant already, I would go home, they will not give me food because I did not come with any money. They will lock me out. Only a lady, her name is Antonia. I don't know if she's still alive, wherever she is in the world. God will bless her. She will sneak at night and give me some bread to eat. She told me she is here, not that she wants to be this, but because of what her mother sold their property. So she don't have option. And I was older than her than to do this. But she's afraid that I might lost my life, they might kill me. So continuously, we started a battle. I would go, I would come back empty-handed. I would go, I would not bring anything. Then the beating, physical beating started. After the whole 2 months into the situation, I discovered that I missed my period. And this can only be pregnancy because I was young. I was not taking any prevention. So I confided in Antonia. I said, it's like I missed my period. Is there any way to know, or hospital, like we normally do back home in Nigeria, you go to hospital, they test you out. He said the only way is to get a pregnancy test, which she did. And I discovered that I was pregnant. And that gave me the boldness to say, as a tradition demands, whether you are married or you are not married, as far as you are pregnant, you are not allowed to sleep with other men. So I stood my ground. I became a threat to everybody in the house. They isolated me, except Antonia. And I took it to myself one day. I went with them to the streets, pretending that I'm going to do this job today. So I just stayed. And a white guy came across and said, I noticed you. He was speaking their language, Italian language, which I don't understand. I said, you speak English? He said, yes. He said, I noticed you. Can you come into the car with me? I was willing to go to any length. Why? Because I needed to get away into the police custody where I can escape. So I told this man the whole story. He had a compassionate feeling for me. I don't know why. He's a God sent. He took me to the police station, and the police told me then that we can't help you. But how we can help you is for you to tell us the address of the place, where the name of the woman, and then you have to go back to the house. The next morning, as early as 5 a.m., there was a heavy distance on the door. As the police banged the door, the whole house, people were flying from the first floor as if nothing were to run from police because they would be deported according to them. They just went to the house, touch everything, do whatever they want to do. And what really saved me was they found something extra in their house. They found the blood of people they cut people's blood and used cutting wool to damp it and keep it somewhere. People's nails, people's undies, people's hair, a lot in a box, and they lock it up. So the police asked them, what is this? No answer. So they break it open, and they saw human being possession. It has hair, your nails, your fingernails, the blood. So they took the brother and the woman. So they took them out, and they took everybody to the police station. We have never seen a brave lady like you. What do you want us to do for you? I said, please, if you love me, I promise my mom I will wipe her tears. I lost my dad when I was 15. My mom has nothing. Please, I want to go back to my mom. That is how I get back to Nigeria. Coming back home, so excited that finally, you're going to start your life again and over again. But coming home and meeting the person that you said you are in love with, that is love with you, disappoints you. He wanted me to practically abort this boy. I called my son now. He's 21. Because I came back, the whole story in Europe and everything cost me about 5 months before I was able to return back to my country. So he said I should abort this child. He's not ready to be a father. And I was 8 months gone. He persuaded me to do this just seriously gave me a very strict option. He said, either we cut this baby in your womb to pieces, or we induce you to have this child and we throw the child away because it's going to be dead anyway.
Wow.
Those two options, after there was 13,000 naira, I still remember, yes, vividly. I said no. I went home. But today I'm happy. Let me use that language. My son is alive. He's the only boy I have now with other 3 girls. So I'm a proud mother. So I'm happy I did not abort that child. So he got me pregnant again for the second child, but under a matrimonial. So we got wedded. We settled our differences. When my son was born, I practically moved in with him. He promised everything. But his ways, I'm not here to condemn anybody because I have forgiven all of them. And all of them that really hurt me, I have forgiven them. Am I proud to say it? I am a mother of 4, a boy and 3 girls. 2, the first and the senior one is from the same parents, and the 2 is for a different father. 1. But the same person that I thought we are going to spend life together with pushed me out again after our wedding, pregnant with a second child, to go into Europe again. This time around is not in a dubious way. Let me use that language. It was a connection from my auntie. I call that person a stranger and somebody that God sent into my life to keep me alive till date so that I can share my story. I refused. I said, I'm not going. You know what I went through the first trip. I am going to stay here. We are married now. Let me take care of my son and this unborn child. He refused. I became the enemy of the house. I was being treated roughly. And in the process of time, I made up my mind. I made up my mind. I said, God, let your will be done. I don't know why this is happening. Let your will be done. And I left the shore of my country with more than 9 months pregnancy, overdue pregnancy. That is how I came to Europe the second time in 2003. And 3 days later, I was operated in a refugee camp. I gave birth to my girl in a refugee camp. The immigration people or anybody that checked my file will say, it is not possible. You lie. I said, no, it's my testimony. Those dark moments I passed through was taking me somewhere in life. So I gave birth to this child. And what was the result? Why did they operate me? It was because my placenta was down and the baby was up. It will have led to bleeding, and maybe that will be the end of my life. African, I don't even have the money to go to antenatal. So how will I know? I have to push from home first or whatever they do.
The grass is not as green as we perceive it from afar. Traveling abroad for greener pastures has taken so many lives, sentenced some to a life of doom and slavery. There is a local adage I know. Some danced and were given money. Some danced and were beaten. Jane is just few of those who survived the jungle.
The second child was it was a story. I was practically abandoned in the hospital. And there was no water, no food in the first instance because I was not able to. Hey, how are you? Are you guys back? Yes. Hey, look at me. Oh my girls. Say hello.
Hi. How you doing? How was school today?
Fine.
Okay, I hope you kept yourself safe. Did you observe social distancing?
Yes. Those are my lovely girls.
And so adorable.
My telephone, let me do something. So as I was saying, the birth of the second daughter was like a drama. Like a drama. So I was in the hospital, abandoned. Can you give me a glass of water, please? When I finally got to the refugee camp, I was interviewed for another 7 good hours. 7 good hours. Woman that came back from the hospital, an operation bed, holding my child, interviewing me, what brought me out of my country, what I come. It's a testimony. It's a testimony. Why did I come to their country? What am I looking for? What am I running from? It'd be so good. After the birth of my second child, I started another place, and I entered into another relationship after years back, because my children, they are 5 years interval. 5 years. I don't know how God did it. I don't even want to know, but they are 5 years older than each other. So I entered into another relationship, and this guy happened to be a Muslim. He promised me, "You are beautiful. I want from you. I want this or that." So I said, "Okay." And I got pregnant the second time, only to discover that he wants me to abort the child. He said, "I don't want this child. I am a Muslim. My mother wants me to get married to a Muslim like me." The guy is from Gambia. The man is from Gambia. I said, "Okay, but you told me you want this child." He said, "No." At that moment, I was broken again. So I said, "Okay, I will keep this child." She was a child that came to wipe my tears, because I was in a camp for so many years, refugee camp for 7 years of my life with no answer. On my hospital bed, the day I was supposed to be operated, he came to my bed and told me, "I am going to give her my surname." I said, "Have you changed your mind?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Why?" He said, "I don't know." And I was supposed to go into the theater around 4 p.m. in the evening for the operation. And here is this man that walked in by 12, took me out of the hospital to the city hall, very just next to the hospital. And they signed all the papers. And because of that, I was able to have a resident permit. So they gave me 5 years to start with, to stay in their country and take care of this child. I was so excited to start all over again. I was so happy to start all over again. And she was just 4.5. Another man came into my life, full of promises. That's the little girl you see now. She's 7, full of promises. And she said, this man told me to do everything in my power to get pregnant. So I got pregnant again. He told me to go and study nursing. I was taking care of in the care home, taking care of the old people, which I am not passionate about. I did it for him. In the middle of my study, just about 3 months to graduate, he decided to leave. And when he left, I was left alone again to be a single mother without nobody in my life. And the battle started when I was 5 months pregnant with my last baby. Let me use that language because I'm not going to have anyone anymore. I'm done. So I went to the hospital, they checked me, and also looked at me straight in my face and said, "There is something wrong." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Like you have fibroid." I said, "Fibroid?" And this I'm just 5 months pregnant. So they told me to abort that child, that she is going to be handicapped. There is nothing I can do about it unless if I am willing to cope with a handicapped child. I come and say, "Hello, this is Ashley." Say hello. Hello.
How are you? Ashley, how are you doing?
Hi.
You're so beautiful. God bless you, okay?
So they told me to remove the pregnancy. I called my sister, and my sister said, "Don't do it. I know the test they will take you through can lead to miscarriage, but hold on to your faith." So I went back to the doctor. I said, "I'm leaving the child. Let the child be blind, handicapped, not walking, not talking. I will take care of that child." In the process of the operation and the whole thing, the operation that was supposed to last about 3 to 3.5 hours, what they said, end up almost 7 hours. They said they were fighting because the more they pumped blood, the more I was losing blood. When the child came out, she was healthy. She was not a handicap at all. In fact, she's the smartest in the house. She wants to dominate everyone in the house, but it doesn't happen with African mothers. So In the process of the whole operation and everything, I lost my womb today because of this child. They have to save my life. They remove the womb, which doesn't even bother me because I'm done. I have 4 already. I'm ready to be a grandma anytime they are ready. But in life, there are situations that you will pass through. You think it is witch and wizard or whatever. No. It is God that is taking you past that process to become who you are today. Because if I did not went through that process, I'm a very shy person. People that know me, I don't talk like this. But today, I have my own network. I speak for people. I counsel people. I testify from my own self what I've been through. When I decided to forgive those people that have hurt me, I left the bitterness. I moved past it just from the advice of a Dutch woman, which is the husband of the pastor. I prayed secretly. 2 weeks later, a man walked into my house, and he's a white man, and looked around and asked me a simple question: are you married? In that anger, I asked, don't you see? There's no male picture on my wall apart from my brother who is a priest. And today I am happy. I am married again, and he loves my kids. We share a lot together. He's caring. He wiped my tears.
We thank God for you. We're happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this is a story that will really give that broken woman hope for a greater tomorrow.
I'm doing media designing, so I design websites and different kind of stuff in web design, like graphic designer. Yes.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Mommy doesn't have a problem. She's covered.
Yes.
I do my work and I leave the rest for her. That is why I've suffered. I've suffered enough for them.
Today, Jane is fortunately married to the man of her dreams, a mother of 4, a writer, fashion designer, a gospel singer. In her books titled Light Shining Through Darkness and No More Holding Back, she said God had a reason why she passed through the darkness and brought her light to speak out and use her experience to save young girls.
I am I have power to conquer. I'm a child of the Most High. He made all the heavens, and the earth is footstool.
Sister, you want to join us?
I am beyond. I am divinity. I have power to conquer. I am a child of the Most High. And what about you?
It's been an awesome time with Jane on Against All Odds. People do have stories. In spite of all that happened, she did not lose 1 minute of her strong willness. But today, Jane is happily married to the man of her dream. God has settled her. We pray that that woman out there who has lost hope will be restored back to her. Because that is it all about Against All Odds, is to bring hope and inspiration to that downtrodden person who thinks life has ended. No, there's always light at the end of the dark tunnel.